Content warning. This demo includes sensitive themes that may not be suitable for all audiences, including but not limited to memory loss, gaslighting/manipulation, loss of identity, minor mention of alcohol consumption, dubcon drug use, mild swearing, flashing images. By clicking confirm, you affirm that you are willing to interact with such content. Yes. Welcome back, everyone. It is your host, Cookie Universal. Today we're playing a game. Hold on. Preferences. That's a bit better. Okay. We are playing a game called Spoonful of Sugar. I don't know what this is about. I'm not sure what to expect, but let's get into it. Shall we? Let me set up for this. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a woman, young and beautiful, yet full of grief. Her husband, a shepherd, had fallen terribly ill, and no normal medicine could save him. Desperate, she prepared her offerings, gathered her courage, and ventured into the Silver Grove forest, where a powerful fae was known to reside. Beneath pewter leaves, she found a tall man with platinum hair and honeyed eyes, bathed in shimmering moonlight. His skin resembled tree bark, and his clothes were laced with petals. When he spoke, the forest itself fell silent to listen. "Beautiful maiden," the fair folk said, "your sorrow reaches even here. Tell me, what troubles you?" The woman offered her gifts first: bells, flowers from her garden, and sugary sweets beloved by all fair folk. "Forgive my intrusion, O kindly one," she pleaded. "My husband, he is ill. No cure can save him, and his health worsens by the day. I beg of thee, please, heal him." The fae accepted her offerings, weaving one of the flowers into his silvery hair. His smile grows at her plea, his eyes twinkling in the moonlight like fireflies. "Such a grave illness demands equal price, sweetling," he said, softly, his gaze lowered to her stomach. "Perhaps your first child." Sorry, that was a visceral for me, sorry. What the fuck, we just met, okay. The woman hesitated. Deals with the fair folk were dangerous things, twisted carefully through beguiling words. Knowing this still, the woman agreed, and the fae sealed the bargain with a kiss upon her head. Sorry, her hand, not her head. That would be too fast. Still kind of fast, but yeah. Her husband recovered, healthier than ever, and the fae vanished into the Silver Grove. The woman thought herself quite clever to have outwitted the trickster, for she had known for the start that she could bear no children. Then came the day she adopted a child. The little girl was loved beyond measure, a nursery prepared and toys chosen. Dreams of a happy future slowly spun together within the woman's mind. But then, one moonlit night, the woman was reminded of her bargain. A familiar fae from long ago stood over her daughter's crib, the infant easily cradled within the petal-laced crook of his arm. "Thief!" she cried. "She is not yours. She is not my firstborn. She was adopted." The fae only smiled, pressing a finger to his lips. "Hush now, sweetling. You'll wake her." His honeyed eyes gleamed in the dark as he tilted his head. "Did you think I asked for your firstborn child? No. You misremember." His fingers gently brushed against the fuzz atop the baby's head. a grin creeping onto his face as his eyes met the woman's. I asked for your first child. Dang, that's rough. It wasn't fair. It wasn't right. And yet, the woman could do nothing to stop him from vanishing in a flurry of silver leaves, her daughter still in his arms. Thus comes the harsh lesson all mortals must learn. Fair folk will always play with words. Listen closely and think hard before accepting their terms. For you may never know if you have surrendered your hair, your first kiss, your child, or even yourself. Damn. I gotta be careful then. Oh no. You wake not to birdsong nor the bustle of the village, but to a warm sunlight. Strange. Normally it's the noise that wakes you. The baker shouting her wares, the farmer haggling that his freshly cleaned eggs are worth at least 20 copper, not 9. By now, Ma is attempting to drag you out of bed. You've never been good at waking up on your own. Instead, however, it's the sun. Ugh. You blink your eyes open, regrettingly, and almost immediately. The light outside is so bright, or maybe it's the pounding headache that's making the light worse. Pounding, look at it, pounding. Anyways, where did the headache even come from? You don't remember drinking last night or even staying up too late. Actually, you don't remember yesterday at all. Well, no, wait. Yesterday was when Ma had you to pick up lavender from Mrs. Madigan to make ointments. Then you gathered herbs for her well into the evening. That thought settles poorly in your mind, though, especially when you can finally open your eyes long enough to look around your room. What? This is definitely not your room. Or at least, it shouldn't be. After all, your room has more flowers and smells of daffodils, sugar, and... Wait. No, it doesn't. Your room is small and plain, smelling of dried herbs and the old family dog that always sneaks into your bed at night. You scan the room, taking in every detail. Ooh, it's actually a very nice room. There's a large archway that's covered by red curtains, probably the exit. A bookshelf tucked into the far corner holds tomes you've read despite this being the first time you've seen those titles. Puzzle toys line the shelves neatly. It's strange. You know exactly how they feel in your hands, but you swear you've never touched them before. The things in here feel strangely familiar, not enough to be comforting, but certainly enough to make the unease harder to ignore. But what truly catches your eye are the photos and notes on shelves carved into a tree trunk? What the? Curiosity has you moving, your legs wobbling as if you hadn't walked in days. You use the bed to help yourself stand, then the oversized chair adjacent to the trunk to move closer. Upon inspecting it, it doesn't look like it's been carved into. It looks more like something coaxed it into changing its shape to create shelves. You scan the items briefly, landing on little paintings nestled on the middle shelf. It's you and a fae, a very tall fae at that. The image indicates a close relationship between the two of you. Your expression in the painting would say the opposite, sure, but the fact you actually let someone outside your family touch you says a lot. What? Something about them feels so oddly familiar. You're not sure why, though. Whatever the case may be, getting a better handle of your surroundings is your main priority. Maybe something else in this room can clear the heavy fog plaguing your mind. The little box is surprisingly heavy, but intricately crafted. It's certainly not something from your village. Its floral patterns are akin to a fey artisan's make. The sheen makes you think of porcelain, but upon closer inspection, you find grains within the wood. Petrified wood, huh? Fancy and expensive. Ma could have stalked her clinic for months with something like this, and probably still have some left over. Change, too. You handle it with great care as you turn it over in your hands, inspecting the fine details within the wood, the leaves, and the flowers. Dropping it felt like you'd owe an organ or several just to pay for fixing it. Not just petrified wood either. Looks kind of like someone enchanted the whole thing, if the symbols etched on the bottom means anything. Though you're not well versed in magic, you've seen enough enchantment work to get a vague idea of what it looks like, at least from what you can remember. Without thinking, you find yourself fidgeting with a turnkey. The lid pops open, revealing a delicately painted pond and a person surrounded by purple blossoms. The tune it plays feels somehow both nostalgic and melancholy. Or what is it called? Melancholy. Melancholy. I can't say that word. I'd never know how to say that word. Is this melancholic or is it melancholy? I don't even know. English is so confusing sometimes. Anyways, like it's mourning for something lost. For a brief moment, when you close your eyes, you can't picture the same pond, your hand in someone else's, and your feet gliding along tall grass between flowers. You look at the music box again, observing the artistry in the craft. Hold on. The person in the design looks a little like. You close the box, the gentle twinkle of its music silenced. You place it back on the nightstand, not wanting to look at it for too long. You can't explain the sudden shiver you felt. You're not sure if you want to. That's weird. The silver haired Fae. It feels like a subconscious gesture to reach for the book. Its spine is slightly worn, indicating someone has opened it many times. The edges of each page all have small signs of mice nibbling on them. Not to mention, someone must have fidgeted with it while reading. The bottom corner and is worn down at the back, showing the first layer of leather. The silver-haired Fae? Why do I feel like I've read this before? You don't read the full story, mostly thumbing through pages. The imagery and wording certainly felt familiar. Maybe you've read it before, just can't recall. You slide the book back to where it belongs on the shelf, taking an extra second to line it up with the other books. A soft knock startles you. What? Before you can react, the curtains are moved aside. Oh my, you are tall. Hello. It's a deer Fae. Furry. The Fae from the painting steps through the doorway, stopping just inside the threshold. They really are as tall as they are in the paintings. Originally, you thought you were sitting and they were standing behind you, but no, that's just how tall they are. No wonder the doorway is so big. It was made to accommodate for them. Even the room feels like it adjusts itself around them somehow. Dark violet hair frames their face in loose waves. The flowers around their shoulders look grown there rather than part of their outfit. Ah. Their smile softens. It pleases me to see you awake, Petal. The softness of his voice, light and fleeting, feels like it could be taken by the breeze before he can finish his sentence. Hearing him talk, Seeing him in front of you makes your chest tighten in ways you can't describe. Petal? A term of endearment. Your hair reminds me of flower petals from my homeroom. The Fae crosses the room with quiet steps. His gaze flickers briefly over your face, your posture, your hands. He looks at you the way Ma does, assessing for any possible damage to your person. Wandering about already. His hand barely grazes your back, guiding you gently back towards the bed. You'll feel better sitting, Petal. He, meanwhile, lowers himself into the oversized chair nearby. That makes a lot more sense, actually. What you thought was just a comically large chair is actually something built for him. Now then, tell me honestly, how are you feeling? Before you can answer, his brows knit faintly. Ah, no. Forgive me. That's a foolish question. Your head still aches, doesn't it? The concern in his voice doesn't feel practiced or insincere. He looks and sounds genuinely worried. It feels familiar. You're not sure how or why. Yeah, a little bit. Uh, a little bit, actually. His shoulders ease a touch. You sense his appreciation for the honesty, though worry still lingers in his eyes. Though it was expected after all you've endured. I wish it wasn't so. It will pass soon. Sometimes I get headaches when I first wake up. Even so, I'll prepare your medicine shortly to assist with that. Your medicine? A quiet silence settles between you two. Not quite awkward or, well, perhaps a little. It mostly feels like a game of who's going to speak first. You're not sure if you should ask anything or see if he has something else to say. He watches you from his chair, hands loosely folded in his lap. One of the petals curled over his shoulder shifts as though stirred by a breeze you can't feel. The air about him feels patient, unhurried, like he could sit there or sit here for hours waiting for you. You take a breath and decide to speak up. What should I call you? You may not be an expert on Fae, but you knew the important rules. Never accept gifts carelessly. Never agree to bargains you don't understand. And above all else, never give your true name to a Fae, and never ask for their true name either. His expression brightens at your question, not in surprise, but in something almost pleased. A careful little thing. You ask your questions wisely, Petal. Heat creeps up the back of your neck. You're not quite sure if that's praise or amusement from him. Probably both. It's a good thing. It means your senses and wits are still about you. He tilts his head slightly, causing violet curls to slip over one shoulder. You may call me Casimir. Casimir, an old, elegant name. The kind that belongs to dusty storybooks and cautionary tales told around lantern light. Still, something tells you that you've heard such a name before. Well, at least he offered it willingly, better than going, hey you, or referring to one of his Fae titles. Casimir, okay. His expression softens to something warmer, like hearing you say it mattered dearly to him. That wasn't so frightening, was it? Depends. Will I explode if I say it wrong? Ah, you and your mouth. You need to practice more caution. Who knows what could set him off? Before you can continue your internal reprimand, Casimir laughs. It's a soft, low sound that makes your heart flutter with a sense of deja vu. Not today, perhaps. 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 That's not very reassuring, Casimir. The smile grows, a hint of playful mischief twinkling in his eyes. Perhaps not. There is fun in that too, no? He's got a point there. There's a bit of a thrill in the unknown. Fair enough. Silence settles again, lighter, less tense than before. The feeling of being carefully observed doesn't dissolve, but now you don't feel like you're one wrong step from losing your liver or something. Rub the pad of your index finger and thumb together. Well, I feel a little rude now. Casimir turns to you, tilting his head. Why is that? You know my name already, at least. I'm pretty sure you do. But it feels weird having you be the only one introducing yourself. I should at least say that you can call me. The words fall from your tongue as your thoughts slowly wither away. You blink, looking at Casimir. Then your hands. Call me. A thought, a horrid, terrifying thought, blooms in the forefront of your mind. What is your name? It should be there. You know it should be. Everyone has a name. You never gave it away. It should be there. So why? Pain lances behind your eyes, forcing you to suck in a sharp breath. What is my name? I should know it. I shouldn't be forgetting. I can't still remember Ma and Pa and Mrs. Petal. Petal! Past the blur of pain behind your eyes, you can see Casimir standing from his chair and reaching out to you. He kneels before you, his movements careful. He gently takes your hands and pulls them away from your face. Breathe, Petal. With me. In. He breathes in. You follow the instruction without thinking. 1, 2, 3, and out. He breathes out. You do the same. In 1, 2, 3, out. Why? Your voice breaks. Why can't I? Don't force it. Even though he says that, you still try. You can't help it. It's your name. It's you. But the harder you try to grasp it, the worse the pain becomes, like holding water with broken, mangled hands. Casimir. You meet his steady gaze. Why can't I remember my name? He doesn't answer at first. You try to read his expression, get a feel for what he might be thinking or feeling, a twitch of his brow, his lip pressing together, anything that you can just gauge. You don't see pity or relief, you see something so much worse. Grief. Your memories are still fragile. His thumb brushes the top of your head. Some things return more slowly than others. Then why can't I still remember my parents? Do you remember all of your childhood? His question has you pausing, another shuddering breath making your body tremble. You search the broken memories. Ma, Pa, the dog, Roach. Roach? What the fuck? Mrs. Madigan, the crotchety old lady who's actually really nice. That's funny. A birthday for you, for someone else. You shake your head. It's all in pieces. Shh. It's all right, Petal. You needn't stress over it now. His thumb keeps rubbing against the top of your head. It's easier to remember simple things. Sometimes things such as your name, which should be as simple to grow, can still slip away when you are least expected. You stare at your hands, your mouth twisting with the desire to argue that your name is something you should never forget, but you stop yourself. The explanation makes sense, at least enough so that you desperately want to believe it. You look at Casimir. Then what am I supposed to do? Loath, you are to admit how small the question makes you feel. You have to ask. There's more on the tip of your tongue, but you hesitate. Casimir takes that hesitation to speak first. For now, you needn't force yourself to remember what causes you pain. You swallow the forming lump in your throat. Another thought, a strange one, occurs to you. Wait. You open your mouth, then close it. Casimir's attention remains on you, patient as ever. Haven't I already told you what you could call me? For the first time since he entered the room, a true silence settles between you both. Not awkward, not this time. The silence is more careful, the kind where you're trying to think of a proper thing to say in order not to anger or upset someone. Casimir's thumb brushes against your knuckles, probably to help ground you. His voice remains gentle and measured. In all honesty, it does help ease that tension you felt settling in your muscles. You've given me many names over time. You frown as something twists in your stomach. Many? ? What do you mean by many? He smiles, though sorrow lingers in his visible eye. Some playful, some terribly dramatic. He huffs through his nose, almost a laugh, his smile shifting to something more fond. Your mouth twitches up despite yourself. That certainly sounds like something you do. There was a period in which you insisted upon calling yourself the Scourge of Lantern Bucks. You snort, using your free hand to hide your smile. I absolutely did not. You absolutely did. The mirth in his tone has another laugh bubbling in your chest. It's almost enough to make you forget the terror clawing at you. After sobering up, you clear your throat. Okay, but seriously, what did you actually call me? Something unreadable briefly flickers through his eyes. It's gone just as quickly. The names you offered me always change, but they were never your truest ones. His words make the ache behind your ribs deepen, like a stubborn bruise that won't heal. My truest ones? As you know, names are complicated things among my kin. Petal. You nod. His thumb lightly strokes your knuckles again. Especially precious ones such as your name, your true name. The implication settles slow, heavy. You never gave him your true name, which makes sense. Still, it doesn't help the curling sensation in your stomach. Your true name should come back to you in time, Petal. Until then, there is no harm in choosing something to wear for a while. If you'd like, I can simply call you Twig. Twig? Huh? It feels strangely nostalgic, though you can't pin why. Okay, humor me. Why Twig? He chuckles. Because every time you've changed back from book hunting, you'd have twigs in your hair. You huff, a smile finding its way onto your lips. Yeah, that sounds like me. Even with your even with your memories in pieces, you can still remember your love for bugs. And searching for them in the forest by your village. Only the pretty bugs. I don't really fucking like bugs in real life. It does, doesn't it? Shall I call you Twig then? Hmm. I guess. I don't fucking know. Twig is fine. Casimir nods. Twig it is then. The name sounds natural coming from him. It gives you the impression that he often called you it back in the day. He pulls away to lean back in his chair, studying you carefully. Something warm crosses his features. Joy, perhaps? No. No. Relief, more like. Better. Rather than immediately answer, you test the nickname in your head. That hollow feeling in your chest hasn't vanished, but it doesn't feel quite so sharp as it was before. A little. That's good. And the silence settles, less heavy than before, certainly less suffocating. Now then, tell me, Petal. His gaze drifts briefly toward the shelves you inspected earlier, the paintings, the keepsakes, all pieces of a life you still can't remember. Do any of these things jog your memory? His tone sounds hesitant, yet hopeful. You glance toward the shelves again, the books, the paintings, all the strange little pieces of a life that feels like yours and someone else's all at once. Sort of? It's strange. I look at everything in here and I feel like I should remember them. But every time I try to actually think about it, it's like reaching into fog and blindly feeling around. Does that make sense? It does. It's likely the easiest way to describe it. His answer doesn't make your frown lift. Instead, it deepens, your shoulders slumping an inch. So, this has happened before. For the briefest moment, something flickers across his face, too quickly, too fully placed. Sorrow, maybe? Regret? Before you can think too deeply on it, it vanishes beneath that same tender expression. Not to this extent. To this extent, not a simple no. Subconsciously, you rub your temple when you feel a faint throb. You gave me quite the fright, Petal. When I found you, you could scarcely remember your own thoughts from one moment to the next. Found me where? The question comes out before you can stop it. Casimir's fingers still against the armrest, slowly he exhales. Straight to the dangerous questions already? There's no bite to his words. If anything, he sounds faintly amused. Still doesn't feel like an answer, though. I'd like a real answer. Casimir. You sound firmer than intended, but you want something of actual substance, not some vague nonsense. You probably should have worded it better, though. When you glance at him, however, he, thankfully, doesn't look offended. If anything, he appears thoughtful. And you deserve one, but... His gaze lowers to his hands, still nestled atop his lap. But they are just the wound more deeply when forced out before the mind is ready to hold them. Forgive my candidness, but that sounds suspiciously convenient? Perhaps. But I would rather have you think me overprotective than watch you suffer again. Again? Your memory is all returning time, Petal. Pushing yourself before the end will only bring pain. The sunlight filters through the stained glass, painting soft colors of gold, violet, and green across the floor between the two of you. For a moment, neither of you spoke, or neither of you speak. Casimir simply watches you with the same impossible patience, like he has all the time in the world to wait for you. Eventually, he rises from his chair, and the room feels a little smaller. When he does, it's a fierce reminder just how big he is. He smooths a hand along his robe absently, the petals on his shoulders shifting. You should rest a little longer before overwhelming yourself further. I shall prepare your medicine. You're not entirely sure why the thought makes your stomach twist. Casimir pauses near the doorway, his gaze lingering briefly on you. His smile softens. Try not to wander off where I'm going, Should I trust the dude, or I don't know. You waited maybe 5 minutes, probably 10. Without his voice filling the space, the silence feels different. Larger, colder, too, somehow. You look around the room, taking in the paintings, the books, the memories that you had once shared with Casimir, trying to connect the dots that led you to this point. All it does is make your head throb worse. You rub absently at your temple. The headache remains, though, thankfully, not as severe as before. Then you notice it. Gloves. Blinking, and you look at your hands, flexing your fingers. The leather creaks softly with the movement. Huh? When did you put on gloves? More importantly, why are you wearing them? Too much happened so quickly that you didn't even realize you were wearing them until now. The leather is soft and well made, fitting your hands almost perfectly. The slightly faded color and crease marks tell you they're not new either. They're comfortable, sure, but you can't name why, but something about them bothers you, enough that you find yourself absently scratching at your hand. You tug lightly at one, then pause. Your sleeves are strange too, longer than necessary, disappearing under the gloves, moving your hand in a circular motion. You can feel the fabric stopping just at your wrist. That can't be normal. Why are you covered from the neck down? A soft knock against the door frame interrupts your thoughts. Casimir moves the curtain aside and steps in, carrying a polished wooden tray. A porcelain teacup rests upon it alongside a small plate of honey cakes. Steam curls lazily from the cup, the scent reaching you almost immediately. Lavender with a hint of honey and something else that's also floral. You can't quite place that one, though the smell alone eases some of the tension in your shoulders. Casimir crosses the room and places the tray upon the nearby nightstand. There we are. The simple words carry a strange sense of accomplishment, like he's pleased to have done something for you. You look at the cup, then the cakes, then back towards his hands. Towards your hands. My bad. Something troubles you, Pedro. The gloves, the sleeves, the strange lack of visible skin. It's bothering you more than it should. It's not like you haven't ever covered up, but that's usually during the cold months. A glance out the window tells you it's either spring or summer. So why? Casimir? You lift one hand to show him the glove. Why am I wearing these? That brief flicker on his expression tells you he probably wasn't expecting the question. Ah, yes. He laughs, though it's much more to feeable to be a proper laugh. You always notice the uncomfortable things first. That doesn't answer my question. No, I suppose it doesn't. He settles back into his chair before he continues. You developed a condition some time ago. That's not concerning in the slightest. A condition? He smooths the wrinkle from his sleeve. Certain things become painful against your skin. Simple enough, but it still feels incomplete. Sure, you didn't like certain textures touching your skin, but this feels a bit excessive. What kind of condition? He doesn't meet your eyes, looking anywhere else, the window, the paintings, but at you. One day to a rather unpleasant period of your life. I'd prefer to not burden you with it while your memories are still in a fragile state. His answer rests heavily in your chest. Not because it explains anything, because it just doesn't. Well, if it's just a skin condition, there's ointments for that. Can't I just take them off and apply an ointment? You can't recall any remedies right now, but you can recall Mom making plenty of special creams for different things, itching, burns, that sort of thing. You tug lightly at one of the No! The word isn't loud or angry, well, but the startling clarity of it makes you freeze before you can take the glove off. For the first time since seeing him, there isn't a hint of softness in his voice. No playful teasing, no jokes, nothing of the sort. His demeanor is less relaxed, too. His posture straightens, his visible eye staring you down. The complete shift catches you off guard. That all you can do is stare. Casimir seems to realize it a second later. His shoulder eases slightly as he takes a slow, deep breath. Forgive me. His voice softens once more, though not entirely. Please, do not remove them. You glance down at your hands, then back at him. They're really that important? Yes. The answer comes gently, but no less firm. I know it may seem unnecessary, but I would not like to ask you this without reason. His gaze settles on your gloves, or gloved hands, something painful crossing his expression. It's gone before you can even think too deeply about it. Trust me in this one thing, my Pietro. Rather than answer immediately, you look at the glove still half pulled from your hand. The request should feel simple, but it somehow feels heavier than that. Slowly, you tug the glove back into place. You'll get your answers, one at a time. Just slow down a bit, Twig. You only just woke up and already freaked out once today. Let's try to keep it to the one freak out a day, yeah? Okay. The tension leaves Casimir in an instant. He leans back in the chair again, his smile returning. Use my worries, Twig. You steal one final glance at your hands. The gloves, the sleeves, the strange explanation that somehow explains very little. It all replays in your mind. A faint itch prickles beneath the fabric near your wrist. Instinctively, your fingers move toward it. Before you can scratch, however, Casimir catches your hand. His grip gentle, his thumb lightly brushes across the back of your glove. There it is. What? The itching tends to worsen when you're stressed. You immediately stop trying to scratch. I didn't even notice. You rarely do, not until it starts to hurt. Sounds about right. Casimir releases your hand and gestures toward the tray. The medicine should help, both with the headache and the itching. It can? It can. I'm already assuming it's some kind of special Fey medicine then? You could be correct in that assumption. Yeah? Your eyes drift between the cup, the honey cakes, and the towering face sitting across from you. A memory surfaces. Not a real memory, but one of those old warnings every child grows up hearing. Never follow a Fey into the woods. Never say thank you to them. And you point toward the tray. Not to sound disrespectful, but we're not supposed to accept food from the Fae. Silence. Not uncomfortable. Just long enough for you to think you've said something wrong. Casimir's gaze lowers briefly toward the tea, then back to you. No, you are not. His voice remains gentle. Sensible advice, a good thing you remember it. You blink in surprise. The reaction wasn't what you expected. Casimir chuckles. Most Fae are not particularly concerned with mortal well-being. We use our food, our drink to play and toy and trap. His fingers brush at imaginary dust on the tray. Your food is akin to a gift, and accepting it means you have something you can give us in return. A song, your shadow, or perhaps the emotions you felt during your first kiss. I've spent many years giving the same learning myself. To never accept a Fae's gifts unless you know exactly what they want in return. That catches you off guard. Wait, really? Would you trust a fox to guard in a hidden house? Probably not. His smile deepens, amusement dancing in his eyes. A wise answer. He sits in his chair again, his hands resting upon his lap. Though I can confess it pains me.